Good evening and welcome to the show, Eagles fans. Hey, listen, a win is a win, and this time of the year, teams are who they are, and small tweaks and adjustments will be the difference between playing the following week and the long-anticipated wait until next year. It was not the prettiest of wins, but the main thing is moving on to the divisional round. It's time for my breakdown. Now there are 8 teams with designs on the Lombardi Trophy, and the Philadelphia Eagles are one of them. As an Eagles fan, that should be celebrated and relished. There are 16 teams on the outside looking in, contemplating what could have been this season. Personally, I like exactly where we're sitting right here, right now with this team and how it's built. I fear no opponent. Normally things begin and end with the quarterback, and not so much this game. The special teams started the day off in a huge way when Oren Burks set the tone early on the opening kickoff by leveling Packers return man Keyshawn Nixon and causing a fumble that Jeremiah Trotter recovered at the Packers' 28-yard line. 3 plays later, touchdown by the Eagles, and barely a minute had even expired. The Eagles defense proceeded to pitch a first-half shutout versus the top-ranked Packers offense, forcing 2 interceptions. Slay had one and Bond had another one, 2 punts, and a missed field goal from 38 yards. This unit played as they have for 95% of the year. Guess what? Outstanding. They held the Packers to 115 total yards on 30 plays run and pass for an average of 3.8 yards per play. The second half yielded little improvement for the Pack, although they managed 10 second-half points on 11 runs for 67 yards and 111 yards as Love went 11 for 18 through the air passing. As usual, Jalen Carter wreaked havoc along with interior line mate Milton Williams. Nolan Smith stepped up big with his best game of the season in the biggest game of the season with 2 sacks, tied for the lead in tackles with 7 on the day total, 2 tackles for losses and 2 quarterback hits. His development has been something to witness. The secondary plays stellar, not yielding any explosive plays, along with sure tackling in the open field. Zach Bond continues to impress and create value for himself. Nakobe Dean was confirmed, and unfortunately, he is out for the remainder of the playoffs with a torn patella tendon. Oren Burks will have big shoes to fill, and after last week's spot duty, a full week of practice will serve him well. Fangio's young guns continue to impress as the best in the NFL and have amassed 13 turnovers over the last 4 games. Some would say they're the sole reason for the win on Wild Card Weekend. I say not so fast. From my perspective, after nearly a month off recovering from a concussion in Week 16, Jalen Hurts took the reins of the offense versus the Green Bay Packers last Sunday afternoon. I was not alone in my beliefs that he would be a bit rusty and a bit off coming into a game of the magnitude of the first round of the playoffs. He started off hot, 6 for 6, 39 yards, and an 11-yard dart to Jahan Dotson for a touchdown. He then went cold the rest of the half, not completing another pass, going 0 for 7 and 1 sack. But Saquon was doing what number 26 does, and the special teams and the defense stepped up huge, with the defense holding the line and Saquon averaging well over 5 yards per carry in the first half on 9 carries for 58 yards. The passing game got a bit of a reprieve until Hurts and company needed to make a play to cement the game. After a Packer field goal that drew them to within 1 score, Jalen led the offense on a 5-play, 58-yard scoring drive to lock the game away on a 24-yard Dallas Goedert touchdown pass, a thing of beauty. The reason why you have 3 phases to a team is so that when one is struggling, the other 2 will support them until they can right the ship. No matter how one feels about Jalen Hurts in the passing game, when needed, it shows up. In the second half, Jalen went 7 for 8 for 92 yards and a touchdown. Nobody's really talking about that. Nothing to write home about, but come on, good enough to win. The same as the run game. 20 second half runs for 80 yards, good enough to get the job done. Jake Elliott missed an extra point, but was money from 31, 30, and 32 yards. And if our coverage teams continue to set the tone the way they did last week, hey, listen, we're moving forward, no worries, on to the next. The LA Rams. That's my breakdown. Up next, Legendary Hall of Fame head coach Dick Vermeil graces us with his presence to talk about the Eagles versus the Rams in the divisional round Sunday at the Link.
It's happening again. Those missed tackles are starting to stack up. Your friends pleading with players who can't hear them, sweating it out week after week. But not you. Why? Because whether they score or not, there's always another way to win on the BetParx app. New casino users score up to $1,000 bonus back in their first 24 hours.
Most people don't know how to get the care they need. The experts at Stay at Home Care can help. Before choosing a caregiver or family member for your care, you need to apply for the Home Care program. The application process can be complicated. Stay at Home Care can help you navigate through every step. Once approved, your caregiver or family member will receive guaranteed weekly pay, a variety of medical benefits options, paid holidays, paid vacation, and overtime pay. Call Stay at Home Care, here to help every step of the way.
Oof, stuck paying for that old phone? Don't be. You know, at Verizon, we'll pay off your phone, and you'll get iPhone 16 with Apple Intelligence on us. Now with Genmoji. That's a value of up to $1,600. Only on Verizon.
On game day, it's the Eagles' job to protect this house.
But in here, this is our house.
So we drank our pickle juice, then wrote the playbook on injury law.
And created a winning culture that knows
Hungry dogs run faster. And we always bring the pressure because that's the standard. And we don't win until you win.
Since 1893, Weber Display and Packaging has been Pennsylvania's leading manufacturer of corrugated packaging and displays. We're family owned with 4 Philadelphia locations, 2 converting facilities, a warehouse, and a fulfillment center. Designed through delivery, we exceed customer needs. Weber Display and Packaging. Our core values drive everything we do. Come join our team. This segment is brought to you by Pond Hockey. Welcome back. One of Philly's beloved head coaches, Pro Football Hall of Famer, Super Bowl champion with the Rams, and former head coach of the Kansas City Chiefs, Dick Vermeil joins the show. Coach, I get a little antsy this time of the year. I know you do as well.
I do. And I'm enjoying this time of the year, really. I really am, because it's been an interesting season, a surprising team, just like the Rams being a surprising team.
So listen, there's a lot of pundits and gurus that have major reservations about the play of Jalen Hurts and his ability to throw the football, I should say, and lead this team to Super Bowl 59. What's your opinion, Coach?
First, I've said all along since I started evaluating him as a younger quarterback, I don't think he has any limitations. I really don't. I don't know what they are, though I'm not on the practice field with him every day. I'm not in the game plan planning meetings and those kind of things. But, and I've studied him. I studied him this year. His numbers right now are better than the 2022 numbers in all those categories. It's not as spectacular because they aren't utilizing the passing game as much. Yes, it is disappointing to play a game like the other day and have very few yards going in the middle of the third quarter and your best receivers only touching the ball one time. Those kind of things are irritating. But many times that's not the fault of the quarterback.
Coach, that's why I love to have you on the show. You're the voice of reason. Each year is a different year. The Birds primarily are a running team this year with Saquon, much more than they've ever been. What's your opinion on the advantages of being able to run the football in such a dominant manner?
I think it's a big advantage. In fact, my computer stuff, which I've been fooling around since 1969, before it was even in the computer, with old Bud Goody, okay? It tells you the Eagles are number one in pass in terms of their mind, and they throw the ball fewer times. Now if they were losing or forced to throw the ball more, because of the defense not playing quite as well, I think that they would actually probably throw the ball better and more often. But they don't have to.
Vic Fangio has done wonders with this defense this year. How is he able to take such a young group and transform them into the #1 defensive unit in the National Football League in such short order?
I have never seen a defense improve in 1 year as much as Vic has improved this defense. Hey, thank Howie Roseman. How about those 2 young kids? These other guys. How about these other draft choices they're starting to play with Smith this weekend? So you have to have good players, but I think he's got them structured well. They're very well disciplined. I think in many cases they might be playing as a team a little bit better than their overall talent combined with experience. So it goes to him. It goes credit to Nick because Nick's still the head coach.
No doubt about it, Coach. So now your old Rams fly east from L.A. On one less day's rest. The Birds beat them pretty handily in Week 12. The defense held Stafford and the offense to 290 yards total offense, 0 for 8 on third downs, and then they sacked him 5 times. The offense racked up 481 total yards, Coach. Yeah, on 314 on the ground. Saquon had 255 and 270-plus yard TDs. They dominated them just about in almost every way. What, in your opinion, will be different about this game than the Week 12 matchup?
The Eagles have to do a great job of mentally preparing for the team they're playing today, not the team they played before. This is a much better football team. You're a defensive guru. You know what defense is. If you watch them play Monday night in defense, those kids really got after it. And that's been a good offensive team. They won 14 games, okay? They won 14 games. And they made the quarterback look inefficient, okay? They made him look bad. So it's a totally different team. So just be prepared for that.
All right, Coach. So the Birds seem to be on a collision course with Detroit. But first things first, they're going to have to deal with this Rams team. What do you say about them staying in this moment and not looking ahead to the NFC Championship game?
I think Nick Sirianni has done a wonderful job since he's been here as the head coach and working with his team mentally. I think, he has the whole team's attention. He has the whole team's trust. They're listening to him. And I think he and the staff, with Vic Fangio and his staff, everybody working together, they'll convince him this is not the same team that they beat earlier in the year. And they're going to have to focus. Now, yes, people are going to ask the same question you're asking me about Detroit. Detroit right now might be the best team in football. They're going to have to prove it, of course. But I think the fact that Nick has done a good job on the mental side of the team. You listen to Nick talk, he's always talking about the mental side of the game with his players. And I think that's going to help them focus this coming week.
Coach, listen, it's always a blessing to have you on the show and talk ball with you, my friend. I appreciate your time. And you know what? Thank Carolyn for allowing us to borrow you for a couple of minutes this evening. Coming up, Brad Feinberg is up next to preview the divisional matchups and set your betting picks.
Oof, stuck paying for that old phone? Don't be. At Verizon, we'll pay off your phone, and you'll get iPhone 16 with Apple Intelligence on us. Now with Genmoji. That's a value of up to $1,600. Only on Verizon.
This is Parks.
This is how you roll. This is how it goes. This is how you pop. This is how you rock. Take a chance, do a dance, little romance. This is how you. This is how you win. This is how you excite. This is how you all night. 360 hit me. Now we're going all in. I can feel it calling. The crowd, the light, the night, the sights, the vibe is right. This is how you. This is
Parks, Pennsylvania's #1 casino experience. This is how you win.
On game day, it's the Eagles' job to protect this house.
But in here, this is our house.
So we drank our pickle juice, then wrote the playbook on injury law.
And created a winning culture that knows
Hungry dogs run faster. And we always bring the pressure because that's the standard. And we don't win until you win.
Get peace of mind, Drive certified at DavisCertified.com.
How How do you make sure your next vehicle purchase is a quality vehicle priced right? Go to daviscertified.com.
Every Davis certified pre-owned vehicle has a 60-day, 2,000-mile powertrain warranty, plus 2 years of free oil changes, a 3-day exchange policy, and a free Carfax report.
Get peace of mind, drive certified at daviscertified.com.
At Revolution X, we know that fortunes are made in times of uncertainty. Are you selling your investment real estate? Are you interested in deferring your tax with a 1031 exchange? At RevX, we're experts in 1031 exchange planning and the use of passive real estate options using DSTs. Not in the midst of an exchange and want to invest in real estate but don't know where to start? Revolution X has institutional grade real estate options for any size investor right now. Set up a consultation at RevXWealth.com. RevX, defer the tax, maximize the gain.
This segment is brought to you by Bet Parks. Welcome back. Give my next guest, Brad Feinberg, a follow on X at Brad's Best Bets. Brad, then there were 8. I'm a bit surprised at how bad teams like the Chargers, the Packers, the Steelers, and the Vikings have looked during the playoffs, man.
Shocking, but you know what, Seth? NFL playoffs, one and done. You never know what's going to happen, but I'm looking very forward to this week's 4 games.
All right, Brad, so let's buzz through it. We got 4 games slated, 2 on Saturday, 2 on Sunday, and then we're going to throw in a bonus, a little bit of playoff fantasy, all right? So give me a pick for all 4 games. You know, let's start with the Saturday games. Obviously, in the AFC, you got the Texans against the Chiefs, and then in the NFC, you got the number 6 Commanders against the number 1 Lions.
Well, Seth, look, let's start with the Chiefs game. Look, big win last week for the Texans. This is a rematch of a game that was just played a few weeks ago. The line sitting at 7.5, Seth. I lean here, too, at the Kansas City Chiefs. They've just done it too many times in the playoffs, Seth. For me to fade them against a team that's probably out of the 8 teams remaining, the worst of those teams, Seth. My favorite way to bet this, though, Seth, I love them in a teaser. Tease them down from -7.5 to -1.5. And I would personally tease them with the Buffalo, which I did, with the Buffalo Bills up from 1.5 to 7.5. Both games have to win that way, but I think both those games definitely a win in the teaser. But just with the spread, Seth, I do like the Chiefs -7.5. And the other game, Seth, Lions against the Commanders on Saturday. Look, the line's 10, Seth. That's really high for a Commanders team, in my opinion, that's showing they can score, Seth. They've shown they can score. Now, I have no doubt, none, zero, zilch, that Detroit's going to put up a boatload of points. But you know what? I think Jaden Daniels and company can do enough to keep this game interesting. I lean here, Seth, to the Commanders getting the 10 points.
Well, let's jump to the Sunday's games. Obviously, you know, you got the Rams coming east, number 4 against the number 2 Birds at home here at the Link. And then on the AFC side, this is going to be something. The number 3 Ravens traveling to Buffalo to take on the Bills.
Seth, I couldn't agree with you more. I think the 2 best games of the playoffs are going to be Ravens-Bills, which we'll get to in a second, and drum roll, I think it's going to be the Lions against the Eagles. But to get to that point, of course, the Eagles have to beat the Rams. Seth, out of all the NFL playoff games so far, take this however you want to take it. My biggest bet, I bet the Eagles -5 is my biggest bet of the entire playoffs. Up to -5.5 now. I don't care. I think the Eagles, Seth, I love this matchup for them. I trust them way more than I trust the Rams team. Love, Seth, the Eagles -5.5. And in the other game, Seth, I think the Bills, I think it's Josh Allen's year. I think it's the Bills' year to get it done. I think the Bills find a way in a very, very close, tight, exciting game, Seth, to get the win. I think the Bills do it.
All right, Brad, give us some bonus stuff on the fantasy side. Give me your underrated, and then follow that up with your with who you're fading this week.
Some underrated guys, Seth, look, it's not that they're underrated at this point. No one's really underrated per se, but who would I take? Look, to me, Seth, you got to either take Lamar Jackson or Josh Allen. I mean, you can't look at any other quarterbacks. I mean, yeah, they're the 2 highest guys, but they're both going to score a zillion points, Seth. To me, I'm not passing them. Running back-wise, similar thing. Saquon Barkley's the highest-priced running back. I don't care. He's the best one by a mile. I'm not letting Saquon Barkley beat me. Give me Saquon. Receiver-wise, Seth, now this guy's not in the top 5, but I think he absolutely has a chance to be the best scoring receiver this week, and that's Terry McLaurin, because I love this game script. We know they're probably going to have to score a lot of points in this game. Almost 90%. They're probably going to be trailing, having to score points. McLaurin against a bad Lions secondary. Yeah, sign me up. He's not even that expensive, Seth. I think he has a really good game, and I just like the matchup where I think the game script-wise they're going to have to be passing the ball a lot. And then defensively, Seth, I love the Eagles. I think the Eagles are going to have a really good game. It's a shame losing to Colby Dean. I know that hurts. but I think that they get a job done against the Rams and they have a really good performance.
All righty, download the Bet Parks Casino app. Like me, you love to play. You play to win. You bet. Bet Parks. When I come back, my closing thoughts and predictions for the divisional round game, the LA Rams versus your Philadelphia Eagles, Sunday afternoon at the Link.
On game day, it's the Eagles' job to protect this house.
But in here, this is our house.
So we drank our pickle juice, then wrote the playbook on injury law.
And created a winning culture that knows
hungry dogs run faster. And we always bring the pressure because that's the standard. And we don't win until you win.
Oh. Oof. Stuck paying for that old phone? Don't be. You know, at Verizon, we'll pay off your phone, and you'll get iPhone 16 with Apple Intelligence on us. Now with Genmoji. That's a value of up to $1,600. Only on Verizon.
Pride, passion, and persistence. These are the values that drive us all at Ron Jaworski Golf. We strive to deliver outstanding conditions as well as playability for golfers of all ages and abilities. Our championship golf courses offer a variety of challenges from a link-style walk along the river to an escape into the pines and everything in between. My team at Ron Jaworski Golf is committed to delivering memorable experiences every single day. See all we do at ronjaworskigolf.com.
It's happening again. Those missed tackles are starting to stack up. Your friends pleading with players who can't hear them. Sweating it out week after week. But not you. Why? Because whether they score or not, there's always another way to win on the Bet Parks app. New casino users score up to $1,000 bonus back in their first 24 hours.
Gentlemen, are you ready for a wardrobe update? Introducing Divine Nine's Custom Menswear, your clothier for truly unique, custom-made threads. With Divine Nine, you can design your own one-of-a-kind suit, jacket, slacks, shirts, golf pants, and shorts, perfectly handcrafted by our skilled artisans who will bring your vision to life. Prepare to stand out from the crowd with Divine Nine's Custom Clothier, official clothier of Seth Joyner. Custom clothing made for you.
This segment is brought to you by Verizon Communications. Welcome back. As the pressure rises and the intensity mounts, the stakes become more defined. I'm excited to watch and see how this young Eagles team responds. The one thing I caution against is those who have hoped and wished for the Rams opposed to the Minnesota Vikings. Although the Eagles went on the road and pretty much handled this team in Week 12, the dynamics will be different. Listen, I'm in no way afraid of the Rams, but you should never take an opponent lightly. As much as the Birds as a team have grown, so have the Rams since their first meeting. They're healthier, look to be much more aggressive defensively, and McVay is always tweaking and adjusting his game plan. And with Stafford at quarterback, a healthy Nakua and Kupp, Fangio will have his hands full attempting to create new looks for a vet who's simply seen it all. The Birds' offense was on a roll in the previous game, racking up 314 yards on the ground. Saquon Barkley accounted for 255 and 2 touchdowns on his own. But I get the sense that the Rams' game plan will be to load the box and try to stymie number 26, then see if Jalen Hurts can up his passing game. The Rams' defense looked impressive as the clock struck 12 on the fairy tale ending for Sam Darnold once again. They sacked Darnold 9 times, picked him off once, and limited him to barely over 50% completion. I only mentioned this to show the improvement of this young, aggressive defense. The Birds' O-line is primed to dominate once again, and so is Saquon. Statistically, the Rams do nothing exceptional, but play hard, fast, and aggressive. But this is the grimy type of game the Eagles' offensive line just loves. I expect nothing more than another mauling by the offensive line of the Eagles that dominates the line of scrimmage and the time of possession, moving onwards towards an NFC Championship game. I think the greatest concern for most going into this game is Jalen Hurts and the passing game. Should we be worried? I say no. Whenever they needed the passing game to show up, guess what? It has. Listen, you know that the wide receivers are always ready, but when the call of duty has arisen, one shows his true mettle. Now that I think about it, for the doubters, name the time that Jalen hasn't stepped up when he needed to step up. Maybe not to the satisfaction of the masses, but it is reflective of the team's 15-3 record. Could Kellen Moore and Nick Sirianni come up with some more creative passing concepts? For sure. But when the offense needs a play to get the job done, they found a way at the end of the day, and that's all that matters. Moving on to the next round. Defensively, this unit has been lights out for some time now. Kyren Williams is a force at running back for the Rams, but this Birds team has ranked in the top 10 in run defense for almost the entire season. They understand the importance of controlling the line of scrimmage and forcing the Rams' offense to be one-dimensional. Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp are healthy, and Stafford is looking as good as he ever has. But once the run game is under control, the attention now turns to pressuring Stafford and getting him off his spot and trying to improve upon the 5 sacks they racked up on him the last time they played. This game, like any other with the exception of its greater importance, will require the Eagles' full focus for them to go out and take what's theirs and remove the obstacle that is the LA Rams from their path of Super Bowl 59. I feel confident in every way in this unit because they've been consistently getting it done all season long. With destiny awaiting them in Detroit or at the Link next Sunday, they should be motivated enough to lay it all on the line and get the job done. My greatest concern remains the pass rush when vitally needed. Although Carter and Williams and Smith took up residence in the Packers' backfield last week, they need Josh Sweat to show up in a huge way versus Stafford. There's not a speed wide receiver that the secondary should fear. The last thing I want to see is a passive brand of football where we're not challenging the wide receivers at the line of scrimmage and forcing the perfect throws under duress by Stafford. The Birds D is averaging 3 turnovers per game over the last 4 weeks. It'd be awesome to see that trend continue on Sunday. Like most weeks, my stance is the same. The Eagles are simply the better team in every phase. Even the Rams know this to be a fact, but they will have to prove it to the Rams once more. Give me the Eagles, headed to the NFC Championship next with a win over the Rams, 35-17. That's the show for tonight. Check in next week as we post-view the Rams game and get hyped for the Lions in the Motor City or the Commanders right here at the Link next Sunday. Good night, Philly, and go Birds.